Have you ever wanted to make either a comic book, manga, or a webcomic and just thought, I have no idea what I'm doing or how to do it? Don't worry, I got you. Here we go. Drawn Talk! Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of Drawn Talk. It's your boy Tyler. Today we're starting a new series called Let's Make a Comic/Manga. It's going to be 8 episodes, this one being episode 1, where we go through all the steps it takes to make a comic book, a manga, or a webcomic. So if you're new here, I hope that you smash that like button. I hope that you smash that subscribe button. Now, before we even start, I want to say this. Right from the get-go, I want you to be intentional with your decisions. What does that mean? It means that the steps that you make right now are going to affect the decisions that you make by the 8th episode of this series. This is what I mean. By doing everything that I say in this episode, you're going to be able to plan out the exact steps that you need to take in order to make your comic book making process smooth. For example, let's say you decide on this episode that you want to make a 20-page comic. It's full of color and then you want to print it. But then later down the episode you realize, oh my gosh, I actually want to make a webtoon. Now I've got to convert all of my pages, all of my art into the scrolling feed like Webtoons has it. Had you made the decision to do the webtoons right now, we could have saved you the step of having to cut and splice your pages, your panels, and uploading them to Webtoon, and you could have made your comic specifically for Webtoon, and now you have to go through all of this hassle. So hopefully by the end of this episode, you will have made the decision on what you are going to do and how you're going to do it in order to make your comic book /manga/webcomic. And really all of this is just sequential storytelling, which is just telling a story in various pictures and panels. So to begin with, first we need to realize what the difference is between each of these mediums. Comic books are different than manga, and manga are different than webcomics, and they're all different from each other, but they do have similarities. Comic books typically come out in 2 different types of formats, the 20 to 60 page floppy comic and then the 60 plus page graphic novel. They're normally in color and they normally release monthly. Manga, however, typically comes out in pages of anywhere from 15 to 30 pages every single week or month. The pages are black and white using gray tones and screen tones, and then they are published into trade paperbacks. And then finally, webcomics are all digital. They're all posted online and they vary between black and white art and color art. They also have a very different schedule depending on the creator. Some creators put out a page a day, some creators put out a page a week, other creators put out multiple pages a week, some update every 2 weeks or monthly. It's really all up to them. As well, webcomics typically live on certain websites such as Tapastic, Webtoons, Duckcomics, and others. So knowing all this information, you're going to want to decide, okay, what do I want to do? Which route do I want to go in terms of making a sequential story? Now, throughout this entire series, I too am going to be making my own comic book. The comic book that I'm going to be making throughout this entire series is called The Girl with the Mega Fist, and I'm going to grab elements from both comics, webcomics, and manga and fuse them together into things that I like. For example, my book is going to come out every 2 weeks with 8 to 12 page chapters during those 2 weeks. The comic is also going to be black and white, but it's going to read left to right and use typical comic book caption, dialogue bubbles, and narrative boxes. By grabbing the elements that I like from both comic books and manga and fusing them together, I feel like I'll be able to make a story that I like and that will be visually appealing to the readers. So like I said, be intentional with the decisions that you make in this episode. Are you making a comic book? Is it going to be 20 pages? Is it going to be 5 issues? Each issue being 20 pages? And am I just going to go straight into the graphic novel? Am I going to make a manga that's black and white? Is it going to read left to right? Is it going to read right to left? Am I going to make a web comic? If so, where am I going to post it? Is it going to be on Webtoons? Is it going to be on Tapastic? Am I going to host my own website and post it? These are the decisions that you need to make right now. And the reason why is this. Let's say that you make a 20-page floppy comic and that you've been drawing it on a certain type of paper or you've been drawing it on a certain type of size. What happens when then you pick a printer and you realize that printer does not work well with the page size that you've been drawing on? Now you've got to convert your art into a new page, and you've got to do this for every single page that you've done. And for all you know, the pages that you worked on might not even be compatible anymore with that printer. I've heard time and time and again from writers who hire artists and artists who work with other writers and whatnot, and by the time that they send the final art to the printer goes back and says, we can't print this because you guys didn't meet these certain specifications. So right now, decide what kind of comic book am I making? Is it black and white? Is it color? And then find a printer. Figure out how you're going to distribute this. Is it going to be through a printer? Are you printing your comic? Or are you putting it online digitally? By being intentional with this decision, you're going to save yourself so much pain and heartbreak. So that's it for episode 1. I hope that you follow along with the rest of the series. Episode 2 is going to be on the tools that you need in order to make a comic. Episode 3 will be how to create characters that your readers will enjoy. Episode 4 will actually talk about outlining and writing your script. Episode 5 will talk about how to thumbnail pages. Episode 6 will be actually making those pages. Episode 7 will be how to market your book, and episode 8 will be how to get readers to actually read your book. Now, if you were wondering throughout this entire episode, I really wish that, Tyler had gone more in depth in a certain topic. I do more in-depth videos on my Patreon. Starting at $2, you can support me at patreon.com/DrawnTalk, where I make exclusive comics, exclusive content, and exclusive videos for my Patreon members. And I go in more in depth with certain topics than I do here on my YouTube. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Peace.